The amount of time you have been doing something does not mean you're proficient at it. Now let's talk about what I mean when I say that. We've all heard it many times in the photography world, or say a guitar player, tattoo artist, any skill set in a different career, that they've been doing it for 10 years, 15 years, whatever number it is that they want to put on it. Now we as a society have taken that as meaning that they've got a real skill in whatever it is that they're discussing, which for this video we'll say photography. When somebody says they have 10 years of, say, wedding photography, we assume they're an extremely skilled wedding photographer. Now that is not always the case. Anybody who has developed a skill knows that you can develop skills very quickly, or you can spend 10 years taking your time and not being anywhere near what somebody else did in a year's worth of time. Now I know there's going to be some people who are immediately thinking, don't compare my 10 years of experience to somebody who's only been doing it for a year. Now I will use an example from my own life. I started playing guitar when I was 11 years old. I've been playing guitar for over 20 years. I remember at 16 years old, I had met somebody who told me they had played guitar for 20 years. I thought they were going to be absolutely amazing, and I was excited to hear them. I discovered very quickly that I was a much more skilled guitar player. Now, that person could have played guitar for 20 years, but if they were only picking up a guitar every couple months, they were not developing anywhere near as fast as I was. I had a guitar in my hand 2, 3, 4 hours a day. I was always playing it and always developing my skills. The same can go with photography. I think you've got a lot of photographers nowadays in the professional world that don't ever pick up their camera outside of actual work. So think about that. If you have somebody who is a wedding photographer and they're shooting 1 to 2 weddings a week, maybe 9 months out of the year, there's a lot of time that they are not picking up their camera and continually working on those skills or developing new skills. Now let's take another photographer, bought their first camera, and has a camera in their hands at least an hour, 2 hours a day, that they're out. Any chance they get, they are constantly building those skills. They're constantly taking classes. They're constantly researching. They're constantly consuming photography media. They're going to develop at a rate far faster than somebody who is casually picking up a camera or only picking up the camera for work. Now the reason I wanted to make a video on this is because I get asked almost every time I speak to a potential client. They ask me, how many years have I been a photographer? I always tell them that is the wrong question to be asking a photographer. The right thing that you need to be asking is if they can show you, say, the last 3 weddings that they shot. Not just portfolio stuff, but if they can show you 3 full galleries. The reason I always tell my potential clients this information is because that is going to give you a better idea of where that photographer is sitting with their skills right now. Them telling you that they've been shooting weddings for 10 years really isn't giving you accurate information about their skill set. You need to let your eyes be a judge of where they're at or what their photography looks like. If they're not willing to share an entire wedding gallery with you, the chances are is that their portfolio has just been kind of a curated portfolio through the years of some of the best shots that they've produced out of multiple different weddings. Or it's completely possible that they're using somebody else's images. Unfortunately, that is something that's been happening more and more these days. Is it's easier and easier to steal an image off of somebody's site, run it through, say, ChatGPT to change up a few things on it. So that is why I always tell people, ask the photographer to share full wedding galleries with them. And not just 1, but 2 or 3 of them. So that they're able to look over those galleries and see that it's a consistency throughout the last 2, 3 weddings that they've shot. And I always explain to them exactly what it is that I'm saying in this video. Someone who says they've been shooting for 10 years doesn't mean that they have the skills that you would think they do. I've come across plenty of people before who have been shooting for 10 years and can't hold a candle to somebody who's only been shooting for 1, 2, 3 years, just because they haven't put in the work to build those skills to those levels. Now, I'm not saying that every photographer who's been shooting for many years doesn't know how to shoot. The majority of them do. I'm just saying that the amount of years doesn't always translate to the skill level that that photographer has. So for any photographers who are newer to this and watching this, don't listen to these other people out there who are always saying things like, you know, I've been shooting for 10, 15 years. I know what I'm talking about. You shouldn't ever concern yourself with the amount of time that somebody else has been shooting or the amount of time that you have been shooting. Put in the work, develop the skills, create the best work you can, and constantly keep yourself moving forward. Now, at a professional standpoint, that's what you need to keep doing to keep building yourself, to be able to build your clientele further, to be able to charge more for weddings because your skill set is now demanding those higher prices. There's a lot of photographers out there who get themselves stuck into a rut of development. They don't